Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos presentation brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. My name is Aaron Bruski, and with me is the great Steve, Dr. A. Alexander. And in this episode, we're going to look into the upcoming weekend and help you guys close the week up with wins. Let's get to some quick news before we get started here. And we got a bunch of news for tonight's game. So I'm going to run through it quickly. Maybe we pit stop, maybe we don't. Moussa Diabate upgraded to probable for tonight's game. Ja Morant upgraded to probable. We talked about that in the last show. So if you want to catch up there, you can go ahead and do that maybe after this show. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit here. Actually, I know what we'll talk about a little bit here. Tyrese Maxey downgraded to questionable with an illness Friday. That's been going around the league. So if he does go down, there are plenty of players that can step up in his absence. And it actually wouldn't be a bad thing considering he's playing 73 minutes per game. Kobe White, calf, listed probable for Friday. Calf and Kobe White, that's always a little bit scary. Mike Conley, Achilles ruled out for tonight's game. Chris Middleton, knee ruled out for tonight's game. Alexander Sarr, out, adductor. Deep breath there. Daniel Gafford, doubtful for tonight's game. Jared Allen, out for tonight's game. Joel Embiid, probable. Lauri Markkanen, not on the injury report. On the Joel Embiid stuff, I guess in the Sixers in general, they have a game tonight. They got a game Sunday, and then they've got time off. So I think we're going to see the old guys, the old injured guys. We'll see them for the next couple games in Philadelphia. Kristaps Porzingis ruled out Friday, illness. So far, he's saying, and it's sounding like it's not linked to the other illness that's kept him out for so long and been so devastating to his recent career. Draymond Green, personal, out tonight. Stephen Curry, back tonight. Yay. LaMelo Ball, out Friday. Doc, did any of that get you going? How you doing?
I'm okay. This Alex Sarr stuff is really wearing me down, dude. How am I supposed to win a championship in 30 deep when Alex Sarr is in my lineup week after week and not playing games? It just sucks, man. I really thought he was going to be playing by now. And the fact he's not is just a total buzzkill. I can't believe Joel Embiid and Ja Morant are going to be playing basketball on the same day together, separate but together. That's pretty wild. And is Joel Embiid going to power through these last two games before their big break? That'll be interesting to see. But I miss Alex Sarr, man. I need you back, bro.
A lot of stuff going on in Washington. Not only do we have my two favorite basketball players, Justin Champagnie and Tristan Vukcevic, all up in my lineups, just ready to rock and roll. I'm so excited. And then you get Trey Johnson not on the injury report, dealing with a hip injury, sort of sticking to that 2-week timetable. So far, so good. Is he somebody that you would stash given all of the various machinations in Washington?
Who's that? Who'd you say?
Trey Johnson.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, there's a lot of hype about Trey Johnson, but we've yet to really seen him blow up. I do like Champagnie a lot. I do like Vukcevic a lot. I'm going to talk about Marvin Bagley and him here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, Trey Johnson in my deeper leagues, like if you're in a 14, 16, 18, 20 team league, I think he's a guy you got to look at stash. I think it's too early in a 12 or 10 team league, though.
Yeah, I think I agree with all of that. And some of maybe it's the hip. Maybe it was legitimately injury based, but Trey Johnson slowed down after I got a little excited early on in the season about him. And it was a really slow declination, too. So it was kind of a little painful. It'd be much nicer if he had just sucked right off the bat. But no, he's a good basketball player with a nice shooting guard stat set. And in Washington, it feels like that could get potent really quick. So I'm probably of the mind of let's see him get back for a game. Let's see what kind of state he's in, and we'll kind of go from there. Hello to all of our new listeners. If you're new to Sports Ethos, head on over to sportsethos.com and check out our memberships where B150 projections that I spent about 400 hours during the preseason getting ready for the regular season. Constantly, we're tweaking them over here and making them power the tools that you guys need to win your leagues. And we also have articles that go above and beyond what you're going to find on social media. And they also cut through the noise. That's really key. You know, some of our folks, they just give me the straight dope. You know, I want to make sure it's good though. I don't want to have to sift through a social media thread and kind of get the I want something good that's succinct that gets me to where I need to go. And that's what you're going to get with the membership here at Sports Ethos. Check out the NBA Fantasy Pass. All right, Doc, we're going to look at this weekend up ahead, try to figure out some good streaming options. We got teams playing on Friday and Sunday. Feel free to jot this down if you're listening along, or you could check out inside of the Fantasy Pass. We have a streaming grid there that's nice and easy for you guys to use. But Cleveland, Indiana, Chicago, Charlotte, Golden State, Brooklyn, Philly, Minnesota, Washington, and Atlanta. Yeehaw. Saturday, only 2 games with the NBA Cup semifinals. And then we have teams that are only playing on Friday, including Memphis, Utah, Dallas, and Detroit. Teams playing on Sunday only: New Orleans, Milwaukee, Phoenix, the Lakers, the Kings, and the Portland Trailblazers. And then teams not playing from Friday to Sunday, 6 of them: Miami, Clippers, Denver, Toronto, Boston, Houston. Okay.
So, bro, just to recap real quick, because you went super fast. The best streaming options are the teams playing Friday and Sunday, and those teams are Cleveland, Indy, Chicago, Charlotte, Golden State, Brooklyn, Philly, Minnesota, and Washington. Right? That's the big one.
That is correct, right? And I'd like to, yeah, that's correct. And I'd like to thank you for allowing me to mute the garbage truck that we scheduled to appear every single time at about 11:30 during our second show, and everybody appreciates that. But yes, that's the way we're rocking. Is if you got Friday and Sunday, man, you're a good streamer. So that's where we're focusing our firepower in here in today's show. Doc, who is your first streamer that you would like to advise on today?
I'm going to go with Bub Carrington of the Washington Wizards, the aforementioned Washington Wizards. He's played at least 22 minutes in 7 straight games. His last 2 games, he played 28 minutes and 37 minutes. That 37 minutes against Atlanta, he kind of went off. He had 14 points, 2 boards, 9 assists, and a steal with 3 triples. And his numbers have not been fantastic. Like the game before that, he had 7 points, 3 assists. Game before that, he had 10 and 3. But he hits 3-pointers every game. His assist numbers are decent. And I just think if you need a 2-day decent streaming option, Bub Carrington kind of fits the bill. And he's probably available in your league.
Yeah, it looks like they're rebooting him a little bit. Now, the Trey Johnson stuff could work against that. We'll see how they kind of get intermixed here. But Bub Carrington feels like he's a part of the team's future. So to some degree. So to that end, it feels like he's got a priority there in Washington. If he can just get it going a little bit more, I think he will have a chance at something more than what he's been, which is not good. But a good streamer this weekend for sure. I will take DeAnthony Melton. Now you got Friday and Sunday action, so he gets the day off. I'm pretty sure, but not 100% sure he plays in both. This is a little bit of an upside play. There's a little bit of risk built in. And at the same time, they're talking somewhat confidently in Golden State that he might not be off every back-to-back going forward. So you might get a regular player in DeAnthony Melton. And if he's quick, which he looked like he was in game 1, if he's quick, then he might jump the ladder or he might jump somebody like Brandon Pajemski because he offers defense. He offers cooperative play. He could be a tempo guy. Right now, Brandon Pajemski has flown a little too close to the sun. He's pissed off a lot of people in Golden State. He's taken too many ill-advised shots, kind of taken the ball to too many ill-advised places. And it's all kind of bad right now for Brandon Pajemski. So we'll see if Melton can jump a rank there and be a late round guy going forward. So feel free to comment on that if you like. But who is your other streamer?
I'm going to go with Mo Gay of the Atlanta Hawks. In 3 starts this season, he's averaging 11 points, 6 boards, a steal and a block, and 2 threes. I don't know if he's starting tonight or not, but I do know that Kristaps Porzingis is not playing. So there's a chance for Mo Gay to get some minutes. There's a chance for him to have a decent night. I think he's a decent streaming option. I think Porzingis is sick illness, so maybe he plays in that second game, but maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, it's really hard to track Mo Gay because the season-long numbers are pretty bad. Like it kind of doesn't matter when you measure, but the talent is definitely there. And then he also has, averaged a steal and a block in low minutes over his last 9 games. So he shows you the defensive potential. And then if you look back into the past, he's had little runs there where he's been somewhat good. And so there's going to be a time and place where Mo Gay has fantasy value, but when is it going to be? Well, you might as well take a shot when you can get a streaming, Friday, Sunday, a chance with Kristaps Porzingis out. Like that's a good spot to take a chance there. Speaking of good shots, or a good place to take a shot. Moussa Diabate is back. He's returned from knee injury. I guess the theory here is this player has been a late round guy who's looked super athletic all season. Then his numbers dip, and then by the way, he's got a knee injury. So did he get whatever was bothering his knee resolved? And if so, why not get yourself a late round play who, in a situation, if Ryan Kalkbrenner does get hurt, he's been showing up on an injury report every now and again lately, you get a player who could theoretically have upside beyond what he gives you right now. And he does kind of belong. If he gets 25 minutes, I don't think you're looking at Diabate and saying, I'll get that guy off the court, because at least he can defend and kind of keep you in the game that way. So Diabate Monday, Friday, I like that. Doc, who would you like to mention if you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, with Alex Sarr being out, Marvin Bagley and Tristan Vukcevic are both. One of them's probably going to go off over the weekend. Bagley's been starting, but Vuk's been a little better, I think, off the bench. Every time I mess with Bagley, it comes back to bite me. So I'll probably go Vuk tonight, and then that means Bagley will go off. But yeah, one of those two guys are going to be good. Brew, do you have a feeling for which? Like, would you rather have Vuk than Bagley? I assume.
Yeah, I'm a Vuk's guy, kind of tried and true. And at the same time, I mean, Bagley, he does this. He just gets in there and he does things for about a week, usually about a week, and then it stops. And I don't know what level of commitment they have to Marvin Bagley in Washington, but I guess if you could get him going, I mean, maybe you could get another team interested in him as a throw-in and some kind of a deal. But Bagley, in a 1-game shot or in a 2-game sample, when you could get 2 games in a row out of him, absolutely throw him out there, because at least one of those games he's probably playing. So Marvin Bagley, interesting for sure. I'll throw out Isaiah Jackson and TJ McConnell. And McConnell's been kind of down lately, and not exactly TJ McConnell like. So that's a probably good indicator for these upcoming games. Is not likely he's going to continue to struggle. And then Isaiah Jackson's just been steady, like, very mediocre, but steady. He's got a 20-minute role. He might get you a couple steals and blocks, something like 5 and 4, maybe reach up and have a good game in a 2-game sample. I think that's nice and safe. So if you're looking for some safety, Isaiah Jackson could be a good one at the big man slot. And then TJ McConnell, I think you can count on something like 30 to 40 minutes. And in 30 to 40 minutes, TJ McConnell against 1-game players will be up in the top 75 range. So TJ McConnell definitely has good value if you want to stream him in Friday and Sunday action. Let's talk NBA Cup, Doc. We got some semifinal action. We've got the Spurs at Oklahoma City. So let's start with, who are you picking to win the game? Spurs at Oklahoma City.
I'm going to go ahead and say Oklahoma City, Brew. They are just dominating everybody they play. They're fully healthy except for the big man Hartenstein, and they're just rolling people, dude. And it's not even funny. I don't know that you can stream anybody or mess with their bench because they're all good and they all cancel each other out. Jalen Williams coming back is kind of like stuffed the hole that was being filled by AJ Mitchell and Cason Wallace and Lou Dort and all these guys, Isaiah Joe. And they're just too good, man. OKC's too good.
I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. I'm on another planet today. It's a really bold pick there, Oklahoma City. That's
Really is.
That's big stuff. If they lost a game this year, one game, 50 points over my Phoenix Suns. That's I got a couple texts about that one. Not gonna lie. But I will say this: I was writing the B150 for the upcoming NBA Cup, and so I'm doing the top. I do the player comments, and I'm getting to like Wemby and Shea and all that, and like I got to this point with it's like I think if you're ruling out San Antonio to beat Oklahoma City in the playoffs, I think that's bad. I think that's bad math. Like I think San Antonio can compete right now with Oklahoma City in a whatever game playoff series. Like they just are that good. Like they are that good. You're going to line up Stephon Castle, Dylan, not Derek Harper, Dylan Harper. Progress, folks, progress. You go down the Devin Vassell's, the Keldon Johnsons, the Burrito Brothers, the Harrison Barnes. Like this is the formation of the back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, players on your team. And then you get into De'Aaron Fox, who, by the way, almost single-handedly took Golden State down, despite the albatross behind him at center and Domantas Sabonis in that 7-game series. So it's not like he doesn't have big game. He was a clutch player of the year. This is a big game player. And then you have Wemby. I'm sorry, but Wemby neutralizes Chet. Wemby neutralizes whatever you want to say about Isaiah Hartenstein. And you start to clear space in the interior, where guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can't operate, on autopilot the way that he's able to operate. I'm very intrigued by this game. Now, I don't know if Wemby's going to play, and I think even if he does play, it puts the Spurs at a disadvantage, because they're going to have to change their style and all the different things. So I believe the FanDuel odds are, where'd they go? I mean, it's the 12.5 points, I believe is what we're looking. No, 10.5 plus 10.5 for San Antonio. And that probably represents a no Wemby line, I would think. I don't know. The odds for the Thunder are so heavy these days. I'll take San Antonio in the points just because I think they're going to be plucky underdogs in this game.
You're just glutton for punishment, aren't you? Stop betting against Oklahoma City, dude. They're better than everybody else. They're going to run the Spurs out of the gym in that game.
I get it. Okay, so who's your burrito brother of the game?
I don't know. My choices are Julian Champagnie, Devin Vassell, who is now an official member of the Burrito Brothers after his last 2 games when he can't shoot. Keldon Johnson, Harry Barnes, and Dylan Harper. One of those 5 guys is probably going to go off. And Vassell has been in such a horrible shooting slump, and he's been so bad in the last 2 games. I feel like he's going to snap out of it in this one. I'm going to go with Devin Vassell.
Okay. I will, in a game of this nature with all the burritos on the line, I'm going to go with Harry B as my burrito brother. And just, again, leaning on veteran leadership to get through a tough matchup with a 1-loss Oklahoma City squad. The other side's actually way more interesting to me because I had Alex Caruso in the last Cup game as a streamer trying to figure out, are they going to go with the veterans? Are they going to go with kind of the young guys? They just went with everybody at the same level. And Caruso only had 3 steals. So I lost that bet. My second ranked player, Lou Dort, had a good game. So whatever. Tonight,
my second ranked Spur is Julian Champagnie. I think he's been the hottest one out of them. But it's like trying to play the lottery.
I want to say something quickly about Champagnie. A B150 guy last year when he broke out, nobody knew who he was. Now I think people know who he is, and we talk about him as a burrito brother every night. But what I'm noticing is it looks like he's gotten maybe a tiny bit taller, but he just is moving on the court with more presence. Like the tallness of his brother. His brother plays down more in the paint. It just seems like you're going to see more Julian Champagnie as the Spurs continue and get, down whatever road here, even though they've got all these different players. I have this feeling that, man, this team is good. This team is good. But Julian Champagnie, I think he's taken a little bit of a step forward this season. It's been hidden by everything going on in San Antonio. So I'll come back to OKC real quick before we get to the next game. Cason Wallace is my top streamer there. And then AJ Mitchell had a good defensive game in the last contest. So he's sort of hanging on. And I'm not comfortable with it. And we've talked about AJ Mitchell as a possible drop candidate. And I've personally dropped him in places I have a lot of guards. I think Cason Wallace in this game will get a lot of run. I think he'll be the best of their, we come up with something out of Oklahoma. What's Oklahoma City food? Like we got the Burrito Brothers in San Antonio. What do we got in Oklahoma City? Because they got their own crew there. It's the Wallaces, the AJs. You got the Dorts. You got the Isaiah Joes. I don't know. They got the Aaron Wiggins. You got 5 dudes that could be good streamers for you on any given night. And by the way, they win by 30 all the time, so they can dig into the bench pretty much at will. So that's the top 2 on the Oklahoma City side. So you got a lot of streamer action from one game. Then you get to the New York at Orlando side. So Doc, let's start with who you're picking to win the game.
Well, I just want to let you know real quick, Brew, that Oklahoma food blends Southern comfort with unique local flavors centered around its official state meal of chicken fried steak.
Ooh, chicken fried steak.
Chicken fried steak, fried okra, cornbread, biscuits and gravy, and pecan.
All right. Well, I'll work on that. We'll come up with some nicknames. Feel free to send your nicknames into @EthosFantasyNBA. If you would like to name the crew of Oklahoma City Thunder that you can stream pretty much every single night, we would need the help because Burrito Brothers is already taken. New York at Orlando.
New York and Orlando. New York at Orlando. Who's going to win that game?
Yeah,
I'm going to go. Well, Brew, in my finals, my NBA finals, at the start of the season, I had Oklahoma City playing the Orlando Magic. Okay. I went against your Knicks. I know most people love
you went against my Knicks. They're not my Knicks, but go on.
Love you some Knicks. Come on. So I'm going to go with Orlando to win the game, and my streamers from Orlando would be Anthony Black and Tristan Da Silva. Black has just been good for most of the season, and I think he's probably getting up there to being rostered in a lot of leagues. And then Da Silva has a huge opportunity. Paulo Banchero came back. Franz Wagner got hurt. So Da Silva just keeps getting minutes and having chances to succeed. He's kind of hit or miss. I don't fully trust him, but intrigued by him.
Yeah. Anthony Black's been cruising at a late round level, late round level all season long, and every time he gets more shots, he makes less of them. But the basketball play is good. The fantasy value is not, with the percentages and the efficiency. But he's sort of proven himself a little bit. I'm more interested in whatever the next iteration of Anthony Black is than I am this iteration of Anthony Black. But he's definitely got value, and especially if you can deal with the free throw percentage. Anthony Black's been great without those free throws dragging him down. And then Da Silva, we just don't know if he's going to be productive across the board. Then he's a good basketball player for fantasy leagues. If he's not getting you defensive stats, and then you have other issues with minutes and such, he's not. But there are some good streamers in the 2 of them on a night where only 2 teams play. And I'm curious, it's 4.5 points at home the Orlando Magic are getting. You're not worried about Franz Wagner at all. What's the thinking there?
That's a good point. It's at Orlando, and I don't trust the Knicks, man. I know it early in the year I remember Rick looking at the Knicks roster and he's like, man, they're so deep. They're so much better than they were. And I don't feel like they're deep. I feel like they only play 5 guys. And I feel like Orlando's deeper than the Knicks are. And yeah, they don't have Franz Wagner, but they've still got Paulo Banchero, who is struggling. Like, he's due to have a big game. I don't know. I'm just going with the Magic.
It's interesting.
Is playing great.
Yeah, it feels like they're one of these classic teams that maybe like a super team. You know, when you get a super team together and there's 3 players maybe who don't fit, and then you take one out and they play better. without one of those guys, that feels like the Orlando Magic right now. And Desmond Bane's been going nuts lately, and Paolo can kind of go full Paolo without it penalizing other players right now. Defensively, they're solid. It's in Orlando. I'm pretty high on the Knicks right now. Like this kind of recent version, this recent play. It just feels like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are kind of perfectly situated, and Jalen Brunson could do his thing. Karl Anthony Towns is actually due a shooting regression in the right direction, so he could get hot at any time now. And I think New York wants this. I think they're feeling a little bit disrespected a little bit right now, and now they're just kind of starting to feel their oats, and they're ready to show everybody what they got. So I'll take New York in this game. I don't think I would take the points, and I actually am not very confident in my prediction at all.
Well, and I was going to say the same thing, dude. There are things I'm confident in betting on this weekend, and this is not one of those things. I'm predicting Orlando's going to win, but I'm not going to bet on it.
I actually, believe it or not, and I hate saying this because this is against Oklahoma City, and I could easily lose by 50 or something and just not, have a chance. But I do believe in the Spurs bet. I do think that those guys are going to go out there, neutralize each individual player at their position at least a little bit. The one I worry about the most is actually Jalen Williams.
Sir, would you care to put a burrito where your mouth is?
Yeah.
Would you care to bet a burrito on this?
I will bet a burrito, and I will actually follow through on calling your favorite Mexican restaurant that's right next to your house, and I will tell them Steve Alexander's money's no good here. Anytime that man buys a burrito, you send it my way.
Andre, write that down. I've got OKC, whatever the spread is.
You got OKC minus 10.5, minus 108 over at FanDuel, where I will take the 10.5 minus 112 for the San Antonio Spurs. And then if I'm taking a streamer from the Orlando side, I'm going to take the Goga. And actually, even on the New York side, Jordan Clarkson's looking pretty good. But I'll take Goga Bitadze and Jordan Clarkson as sort of your classic gotta produce in limited minutes guys if you need some help. And Goga's actually been inside the top 150 for a while now. And I think I said it on a prior show. If you rode with Goga Bitadze in a 9-cat league, just consistently, he's a top 80 player on the season. So while you're checking to see if those guys are available on the waiver wire in your leagues, take a moment, hit the thumbs up on this video. That helps us out a ton. Thank you guys so much. Well, what are we watching for tonight, Doc? Would you like to kick us off?
I like Atlanta at Detroit. Atlanta is 0-2 against the Pistons this year, but one was an 8-point game in Atlanta, and then they lost by a single point in Detroit when they retired. The odds on that, it's Atlanta +7 at minus 110 over there at FanDuel. But what I really like is I feel like third time's a charm. I feel like the Hawks are going to win this game. It's +235 money line for the Hawks. That's what I will be doing. I do feel like Atlanta is going to win this game. And the guys I'm looking for from that game, like Mo Gay with no Kristaps Porzingis, can Nickeil Alexander-Walker keep it going because he's been on fire? And then are we going to get a Trae Young trade? Maybe for Giannis, maybe for something else. And then, of course, because we haven't mentioned him in 48 hours, I'll be watching Dennis Jenkins, who's in my starting lineup in 30 deep.
Oh, hell yeah. He's in somebody's starting lineup.
I've got him in my starting lineup.
And that game will be a good game because those two teams have played each other tough. And to your point on the betting side and that money line bet, Detroit's won the last two matchups. They've been close games. And I think Atlanta is going to come out, foaming at the mouth and want to take this game. And Detroit, well, also, I want to see if Atlanta zones up Detroit. If Atlanta zones up Detroit, I believe it'll be the fourth straight game that Detroit's seen a zone, and they have not really been able to handle it all that well. And then what does that do for their trade discussions? Like there's the Utah Jazz, Danny Ainges out there in the media who are trying to push the Lauri Markkanen to Detroit bandwagon. And I don't think you add Lauri Markkanen into that squad at all. But if you can't bust a zone at the NBA level And the key piece here being a Sarr Thompson. Like if you have a Sarr Thompson and he's struggling the way that a Sarr Thompson has struggled this season, you're really in a pickle if you're Detroit. You got all your eggs in that basket. He has this sort of not generational, but it's a level of athleticism that we kind of don't see that often at the NBA level. Every 5 to 10 years we see players that are bigger, faster, and whatever. Sarr Thompson's one of those guys. So like you can't give up on that so easily, but it's not clicking upstairs. The game's still too fast for him. He's not figuring out a way to shoot. He's been off the floor perhaps a little bit too much. So Detroit might get backed into a corner thinking that this is their window. And what does that do to the trade market? And by the way, on the other side of the line, you got Trae Young there getting brought up in just about every trade scenario. I know he's linked to Sacramento. There's all sorts of different places in general that Trae Young, everybody wants to swap their kind of bad contracts, though he's a cut or 3 above a lot of the bad contracts that are being discussed out there. And then you get the Giannis angle. They're trying to get Jalen Johnson out of Atlanta, and Atlanta, you're smoking if you, no judgment, but you're smoking if you get rid of Jalen Johnson for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what that market is for Giannis. I personally would not be adding Giannis to too many different mixes out there unless I had a guarantee from Giannis that he was not going to be on the ball. If he's a 2 or a 3, like second or a third player, I'm listening. But he's going to have to guarantee he does not want to be on the ball. And I don't think he's ready for that at this stage in his career. And I don't think teams or even the league at large is looking at him like that. So what happens with Giannis and who makes a trade that might not look good in 2 to 3 years is kind of what I'm thinking there. So we'll watch Atlanta and Detroit tonight. It'll be fun. We'll watch Dennis Jenkins go off. I know, I'm sure. I actually got about another week before I completely shut the door on Dennis Jenkins as far as even just like a talking point. He's going to have to get in there and do some things. And if he doesn't, I'll take the L. But if he does, I'll take the W. I'll be watching Memphis and Cleveland and Washington. That Memphis game, you're going to get Ja Morant back. We don't have Zach Edey. Can Jaren Jackson have anything of a pulse? Cam Spencer, Santi Aldama. You got some pretty unique players here in Memphis. And this story in Memphis, I think, pardon me, will turn a couple times. And we're going to kind of want to ride the roller coaster with this, because if Cam Spencer is going to be good, if the Spencer brothers are good basketball players, we want to be there for fantasy leagues to make sure that we can take advantage of that. Santi Aldama is already on our rosters. So how this dynamic changes, and like Jock Landale, can he be a thing? Of course. But then in Cleveland and Washington, I just want to see that Washington really hit a change button. And Justin Champagnie is like, I need 20 minutes out of Justin Champagnie tonight at minimum. If Justin Champagnie can get 25 minutes, that's even better. If Justin Champagnie gets 25 minutes and then we start seeing this consistently, it might be the time that they finally let him go. And he's hitting free throws right now. That's going to be exciting stuff from a fantasy perspective. So let's go into our next segment here, Doc. Let's go sell high or ride. I love this segment. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to tell you guys some 8 cat rankings over the last 2 weeks, and we're going to tell you whether or not you do the hardest thing in fantasy basketball is sell high. Michael Porter Jr., Doc, number 2 ranked in 8 cat over the last 2 weeks. That's in 2 games, so, there is that. But what are you doing with Michael Porter right now?
I mean, is he not the most classic sell high guy ever? He's on fire. He has back problems. He's scoring 30 every night. He plays for the worst team in the league. I mean, this is just screaming sell high. Like, his value is never going to be higher than it is right now. I think Michael Porter Jr. is the ultimate sell high guy. Why you can, because I just see no way he finishes out the season.
Yeah, and I think what we got to be targeting here is something in like the top 50 range. Like, of course, if you can get better than that, go ahead and just stop the pod right now. Make that happen. But top 50 gets it done for me. And frankly, top 75 probably gets it done for me. And if I'm in a playoff league, top 75 probably gets it done for me. Like, what's the percentage odds that Michael Porter Jr. is playing significant basketball for your squad? And I don't know, did you set your head-to-head playoffs to start before the trade deadline? Maybe that's what we should do with head-to-head leagues, And there are some good exotic ideas out there that I agree with. But like, Oh, head-to-head leagues, man. What a pickle. You're Michael Porter Jr. that's crushed it all season, and he might play what? Every other game in the playoffs? That's interesting. Some news popping up here.
Wemby's likely to play on Saturday per Shams.
That line just moved. San Antonio now plus 9.5 for FanDuel, minus 110. And I suspect it's moving another number. Like, I think it's going to 9. Final clearance will come after today's practice. So that's fun. That amped things up a notch. I am excited for that. So, Doc, you want to reset the burrito bet? You can still.
I'm good with giving you the 10.
We'll do this. I'll be an honorable gentleman, and I will take the 9.5.
All right. I'm good with 10. I'm good with 9. They're going to win by 20, so it don't matter.
Well, if you put it like that, I want the 10.5 because we made the bet back then. I'm not asking. I'm not begging.
We locked it in at 10.5.
Early exit credit.
We locked it in at 10.5. I'm old school. You get 10.5.
We take our whoopings. Okay, let's get to Jalen Johnson. He's the number 3 fantasy play over the last 5 games. Just a freaking monster. Like, what are you doing with this?
He is a sell high guy, but I'm not selling Jalen Johnson if I've got him. I think he's going to do this all year. I don't think he's getting injured this year. The only thing that I could see becoming a real problem for him is if Giannis got traded for Trae Young and end up playing next to Jalen Johnson, which we talked about that last week. That would hurt a little bit, but I just think Jalen Johnson's on a mission. The Hawks are playing well, and I'm gonna ride it out and just roll with him and hope that this is the year he plays 75 games.
He was the Colin Gillespie of the B150 2 seasons ago, ranked high, and nobody knew he existed. So I'm partial to this gentleman here, and I did the B150 ranks, and so I'm just now reordering and making player comments and all the things. And what's really changed the dynamic for him is the shooting. It's the free throw shooting. He's an 80% free throw shooter right now. I think it makes things different. Like, if the guy with the ball is going to shoot 80% from the foul line, you're very comfortable running the offense through him. When it's 68 to 70 to 72, it's a little bit, you're just not, it's maybe one notch lower. And in a fantasy situation, that extra kick from being an 80% shooter and he's shooting something like 6 a game or something like that helps, that plays. And so all that said, he's a sell high. He's a sell high, and I think we're looking probably in kind of like, if you could get a back end of the first round guy, maybe. I don't know if you'll get that. And then if you want to just split the difference, like, I'll probably have him in the back end of the first round for the rest of the season B150 ranks that'll get released next week. That's where I'll have him. So basically, if you want to get out of the injury risk and maybe some trade deadline risk as well, maybe you look into the top 18. And say, all right, I know I'm taking a haircut here. Like, I'm going to, I'm just going to know that, but I'm going to kind of lock myself into maybe somebody who's not, it's not risky, I think, with Jalen Johnson. But what if he comes back to being a 75% free throw shooter on that volume? I think that knocks him back around. So you do have a little bit of risk built in with his numbers, but at the same time, watching him shoot free throws, he kind of looks like he figured it out. And
the triple doubles, he has 4 triple doubles. I mean, I expected him to be great. I didn't expect him to be this good. So I don't even know that if his free throw percentage does drop a little bit, he's doing enough to keep the value just with his PRA.
Right. In a head-to-head setting, especially, like, those free throw numbers fluctuate on a weekly basis, and you just don't know what's what. And I could play the other side of the coin and say, well, that all matters. Like, the fact that he gets XYZ in free throw, it's worth a category point, just like everything else. And so, but it diminishes it to some degree, this quote unquote free throw risk. It diminishes it to some degree. To Roto League, it doesn't diminish it. And then, of course, you could get way deep into the numbers and have a very nuanced conversation about how all these numbers play out. But I would just, if you want to get out from injury risk, this guy has had a hard time staying on the floor, but he looks like he's in great shape. It doesn't seem like he's an injury risk, just kind of by what we've been watching. He's even taken shots to the calf and bouncing back from them. So, so far, it looks like he's a durable player and not that worried about the risk side. But anyway, let's get out of that and let's get into Alperen Sengun, number 6 over the last 4 games. I think that's kind of surprising because I've noticed some slippage in the efficiency numbers on a game-to-game basis, but apparently that's not panning out that way. Sengun at 6. So where are you at with Sengun in general?
Well, his last 4 games, he had 27 points in the first one, but he only had 4 rebounds. And I think that's what you're talking about. And then the next game, he had 31 points, 8 rebounds, and 14 dimes. So the dimes made up all those dimes. 19 dimes in 2 games makes up for some of the inefficiencies in rebounding. And then his last 2 games, he's had double-doubles with rebounds. He also had 5 blocks in one of those games, which helps make up for the fact he's had 0 in 4 out of his last 5 games. So he's kind of doing it with smoke and mirrors right now, but he's good, man. And the Spurs, I mean, the Rockets are really good. The Rockets think they have a shot to win it all this year, and they probably do. And for them to keep this train rolling, they need Sengun to ball out the entire season. So I'm rolling with him. If I drafted him and am happy with what I've gotten so far, it's not going to be much different going forward than it has been looking in the past of this season. So he probably statistically is a sell high guy, but I don't know that you're going to get a player back that's going to be better than Alperen Sengun. So I'm just rolling with him.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I was like, I don't know a single person that would sell Sengun right now. And if you are one of those people, I would love to hear from you at Aaron Bruski, AAronBruski, and or at Dr. A DOCKTORA. I just want to know, like, would you do it? Because it just seems like all systems are go. There's not a lot of, wiggle to what Houston does right now. Now, that said, everybody's bringing up Houston sort of on the periphery of the trade deadline because they do have a shot at winning a title. I don't think they can beat OKC, and I don't think they can beat a couple of other teams. Like, I'm not on that wagon, largely because Sengun in the playoffs, I think he'll get exposed for his defense. But all of the other things, all the other indicators, the toughness of this team, the Kevin Durant factor, Amin Thompson, I think, plays well in a playoff setting. So they're good. They're really good. In terms of Sengun's stats and whether or not he's a sell high, I'm curious if when the games get more important, does Kevin Durant say, hey, Alpy, this has been nice and fun, but I need to get the ball now? Like, it's not your ball. It's my ball. I'm Kevin Durant. Because you can cover a Sengun in the playoffs when they stop calling fouls. And this works both ways. Sengun can use his strength and his weight against a defender and, kind of plow through with a little bit less risk of offensive foul. But by and large, you can start to throw bodies at Sengun, and it can get gummed up for the Rockets, especially considering it's Amin Thompson as the third guy, and things start to close up a little bit. And Durant's like, look, this is my last chance. Like, I'm not messing around here. I want to chip. Let's get this ball in my hands. I know what to do with it. They can't cover me. And over the course of the season, you see some of Sengun's stats kind of go Kevin Durant's way. I don't think it's enough to deal Sengun on, and my baseline for him is probably somewhere in the 20s. So I would not sell high. And I don't think, I don't think you'll get value for Sengun, commensurate with what he's going to get you anyway. I don't think somebody's going to give you a top 15 or a top 10 guy for Alperen Sengun. And I don't think you should be selling for anything less as well. So feel free to weigh in on any of that, Doc. But let's get to Jamal Murray at 10 over the last 7 games. So he's cooking. What do you do with Jamal Murray? Are you selling it all here?
Is he cooking? That's the question. He had a 52-point game, right? 10 3-pointers. But he also has a 10-point game and 11-point game in his last 5. his last game, he hit 4 of 13 shots and had 11 points. On December 1st, he had 10 points. So I think the ultimate sell high moment on Jamal Murray was, Thursday, the day after he had that 52-point explosion. But that 52-point game is still buoying those numbers. I think you sell high on Jamal Murray, and I'm looking for like a top 30, 35 player.
Yeah, I agree with the valuation. And I also think what we're going to see with Jamal Murray probably March is some form of a reset, meaning there's a small injury that pops up and it becomes like a 1 week, 2 week kind of a deal. And then that way he could get the rest he needs before the playoffs. They're going to be big on rest for this year's playoffs. I think they won't take Jokic out, but I think they'll find a way to manufacture some time off for these guys so they go into the playoffs fresh. Trey Murphy shows up at 15 in 5 games. What do you think about Trey? I mean, you got Jordan Poole back, Derek Queen starting to percolate.
Trey Murphy's the future of that franchise. I think he's locked and loaded, no matter how bad they are. As long as he's healthy, I think he's going to be out there playing. He's sort of like the the inverse version of Zion Williamson. He had the injury last year. So maybe they'll be careful with him. But I love Trey Murphy. I drafted him in most of my leagues on purpose. And the only concern I have is the fact that the Pelicans have won 4 games. Like, that's the problem. You want him to play through the end of the season, but he's young enough, he's healthy, that hopefully it's not a problem. I'm rolling with Trey Murphy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He looks solid, and there's no reason for him to lose production with Jordan Poole back. Maybe a little, but not a lot. And then you got all sorts of moving parts there that could help mitigate that value loss. So I'm good with that. And let's go to Benny Mathurin, your guy. He's at a number 60 level the last 6 games. A little bit of peak in value or surge in value, maybe more accurate. What do you think about Benny?
I mean, to me, he's been the most reliable pacer this year. Like, he's kind of breaking out right before our eyes. He had 28 points on Friday. He had 25 on Monday. He's getting rebounds. He's getting some steals. The steals have not been bad. The free throw shooting's good. The field goal percentage has been pretty good. I'm happy with what Benny Mathurin's doing, and he seems healthy and locked in for a team that is just now starting to learn how to win games. So I'm rolling with Benny.
Yeah, I think I'm generally positive with Benny. I do think, though, that especially in a roto setting, this is me with my roto hat on, the scoring and the name value, it exceeds what he's actually bringing you in the overall value bucket. So if somebody's overly excited about Benny and that value loss isn't really understood by the parties, then I think there's an opportunity to sell. But by and large, he's just going to keep doing what he does. And I'm happy to ride that out if everybody, understands the valuation. And in a head-to-head league, of course, he's a little bit better. So I'll tip my hat to him there, and also not necessarily move on or sell high. One quick update: Devin Booker practiced fully. That's from Coach Ott. And so I don't know how hard they practiced in Phoenix. I don't know when their next game is. I believe that next game is, I want to say Sunday. Maybe I'll get an update on that. See if I can figure that out first before we get off the show here. But while I try to figure that out, or somebody tries to figure that out, Doc, you're not doing anything over there. Figure that out for me.
I'm looking.
Please. I humbly ask you. But while he figures that out, that'll do it.
December 14th.
December 14th. That makes it Sunday. Sunday. So if he's practicing fully, I do think that means Devin Booker comes back on Sunday. It's just my guess. He didn't look great in yesterday's action, but I think they were purposely gearing him down. Yeah, it feels like he's ready to go. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, the best way to keep this content coming is super simple. If you're listening on the pod feed, take 60 seconds and drop us a 5-star review. It helps us a ton. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the Sports Ethos channel so you never miss a new episode. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Doc. And thank you to our fantasy basketball content team, Mike Passador, Keston Paul, Mark Camaro, who we will have on tomorrow's show for the week ahead with some dynasty information as well. So you're going to want to check that out. Tim Woodson, William Harris. Oh, Pedro, you can just send me a sternly worded message. Oliveira, Yoel Abeloff, John Mosales, Paul Williamson, Anthony Cates, and many more. Shout out to the tech team. Also, I will be releasing a B150 next week, so keep that in mind for you Fantasy Pass subscribers out there. For Steve, for Andre, and for all of us here at Sports Ethos, Doc will be right. That's not right. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by
brought to you by
FanDuel.
Drop your